Hey Gremlins! So this is my first video on this channel, and today I wanted to talk about tattoos as it is a subject that is quite important to me, and I think we'll talk a lot about it on this channel on a general basis. And for this first video, I wanted to talk about my 10 favorite tattoo artists, and I also wanted to explain to you how I plan for my tattoos. Because I remember that when I first started being interested in tattoos, I would look online to kind of see how people planned for them. Because I don't know, I find it is a pretty scary process. It's like you're gonna have something permanently on your skin, and it can be a bit hard sometimes to figure out exactly what you want. So I thought that this video could be helpful, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with my 10 favorite tattoo artists so that you can understand what type of tattoo style I'm really into, and then I will explain to you how to plan for the tattoos. So I made a top 10, and it's somewhat in order of where I like the most to where I like the least in my top tattoo artists. So I love all of them, that's a fact. From the bottom, let's start with number 10, which is Mermaidsketches. Mermaidsketches is in Montreal, and some people may argue that this is not the best type of tattooing you will find, but I like it. It just has a spirit to it, I find. And her colors are bold most of the time, like here for animals, it's just really well done. And I just find it has some inspiration in it, something different. Like this is black and gray, but I find it just so stunning. It just looks so good and so like inspired. But you also have some skulls. She loves to do a lot of jewelry in everything she does. This is just an amazing chest piece. But animals like this are also a specialty of hers. So most of the time you're gonna find animals or just natural elements with some jewelry in it. And I love what she does, honestly. I love the faces, I love the animals. I'm not so much of a fan of jewelry in general, but I do think that the way she does it really goes well into the designs. And when you look at her healed tattoos, then you can really see that it's neat and clean. So like, for instance, you've got these, but it's like really still bright in colors. This one is, I think it's one of her most known design. It just looks stunning. Like you can't say anything else. It looks so stunning. So yeah, I really love what she does. Down to number 9, Jentonic. I want to say Jentonic the Queen because she's literally one of the most known tattoo artists, I think, today. And she really specialized in flowers. Well, she does some faces and other things too, but I think the flower pieces that she does are pretty amazing, especially the chest pieces. Like, one of my favorite ones is probably this one. It's just so pretty, it's so well done. I love that the sleeves are also like part of the design. She did them too. But you also have these ones, like for the wrist. I think she does very beautiful things. It just goes with the flow of the body again. And it's just really complimentary. It's like a jewelry, right? So I love it. And she does a fair amount of collabs with other artists too, which I find pretty nice. So for instance, this one where it's like you see definitely like where she does the things with like the touch of color, but then you also have a black and gray design, which really goes well with it, I think. Artist number 8 is... She is from Russia. Her name is Kristina Dalmaereva. I don't know if you say it like that, but here you go, my accent. And I love what she does. It's really whimsical, it's really magical, but it's still in like a dark atmosphere. It's really witchy-like. And what I love with her is that you can really see the contrast in her pieces, and you know that it's gonna hold for a long time. I love it. I really love her mythical figures. Like this one is just completely new and created, and I love that. It's just completely different than most of the art you're going to be able to see. And that's what I find interesting in Russia, is that you find a lot of artists that they're going to take some usual patterns, or like for instance mythology in this case, and just really mix it up to make it something new and modern and different, and I love that. So she's definitely an amazing one, and you can see this one just really goes with the flow of the body. You can say that it's like really made depending on the person, and not just like the stencil you put on and bam. No, this is custom made, and you can really tell the difference. So I love that, and you can also see that her healed pieces are honestly amazing. Amazing. You can't say anything else. The contrast is on point. The lines don't budge because they're very thick. For this one, for instance, it's just so much movement. I love it. I love it. Down to number 7, which is gonna be Matsy. So Matsy is a resident at Legendary Tattoo Studio, which is honestly an amazing tattoo studio. I love everything they do, and I think I'll probably get a tattoo from them in like one of the residents in the future. But I really like what Matsy does, as it is really sort of anime based most of the time. You also have like generic things like Pokemon and things like that, but I'm quite interested in anime, so that's something I'm pretty looking forward to getting one day. But as you can see, it's more of a neo-traditional sort of artistry. For instance, I really like this one. You can see the bright colors, the saturation is really on point. And you can also notice that most of the time these tattoos are not going to budge in the future because they really have clean lines and like good blacks most of the time surrounding them, just to make sure they don't move too much. And that's something I really enjoy in a tattoo artist. Is I love the artistry in itself. I want it to look good from my point of view. I know that people have different tastes and views on tattoos, and this is just simply my opinion. But I like something that looks good, that is saturated when it has colors, and I also want something with bold lines because longevity is actually something that is quite important to me. I know that it's not the case of everyone, but again, that's just my point of view. I want my tattoos to look somewhat similar in 30 years as they are, like as what they look like when I get them done. Just because I'm aware that the skin is gonna move and that it's not gonna look the same, of course, because the tattoo evolve with how you treat it and how you treat your body in general, right? So I know that all that is very important, but I also think that the tattoo in itself is important, right? The choice of tattooing you get is really gonna influence what it's gonna look like in a few years. And I think you're gonna see that in all the tattoo artists I'm gonna show you today, maybe not so much in tattoo artists that are based on portraits, as I'm not really sure how they're gonna look like in a few years, but most of them tend to be very clean on the long term, from what I know. And again, I'm not a tattoo artist expert, but yeah, that's just what I think, and that's what it is important to me. So we've got Matsy, that is just, I love his colors, they're just bold, saturated. It just looks very fresh to me, because in the industry of tattooing sometimes I feel like it can be a bit redundant sometimes, and I love when you've got someone's new take on something, right? For instance, this one, you just see the face and the expression is so well done. And what I love with most of my tattoo artists that I pick is that they show you healed pictures, because it's one thing to show you a tattoo when it is done and fresh, it is another to see how it evolves, and especially in terms of colors. You want to see how the colors look like in a few years. The healed pictures, which is very important if you want to have an idea of what this artist's work is going to look like in a few years. Number 6 is going to be Bethrosetattoo. And she is very similar to Hannah Flowers, but I find that she's a bit more on a dark, elfy ID, I'd say. You can see here it's really based on nature. I find that the colors tend to be a bit more traditional in terms of like earthy base tones, and I love that. It just looks so good, and it's really a different spin on like faces and like pretty faces, but it's just more intertwined with a sort of like nature feel, right? She's fairly known, she's in Scotland, and yeah, I think she's just gonna have a demographic that is gonna grow more and more, because her tattoos do last a long time, and a lot of people seem to be interested by her work, which is very nice, because I think she does deserve it a lot. And you can see some of her healed pieces, again, that look amazing, like this one, this one, this one, in terms of faces right now. I just find it very beautiful, and you know, it doesn't budge at all. So that's what we are actually looking for. This one is amazing. Anyway, that's it for Bethrosetattoo. Down to number 5, which is a favorite of mine, honestly. We're going on the top 5, which is like really people I love the work of Haivarasly. I don't really know how to say his name. But I'm actually not sure of where he's based. I think he's based on like South America or America. I'm not extremely sure where, but he does a lot of tribal inspired art, and I love it. This is, for instance, a 4-used heel piece. This looks brand new, just because it's only black work, and it's just really beautiful patterns, to be honest. I love it. It doesn't move at all, and like you can really see that through all his pieces. For instance, on this one, which is brand new, it looks amazing to my taste. You can see that here these tattoos have been like from 6 years ago. Keep in mind that it's on the feet, meaning that it's one of the places that is the most rubbed against, and therefore the tattoos based there they're more prone to fading and just, like disappearing way quicker than the others. The fact that they still look like that after 6 years really show that he has really skilled art and abilities. He does a lot of chest pieces too, but what I love the most is clearly his legs. Like, this one to me really reminds me of like architecture. And I love this. It's just really, it's really unique. And it's really well taken and well placed. And you can see that it has like a very well done way of just going with the flow of the body. It's like adapted to the person's body, which I love. I'd love to get a piece by him one day when I know where he works. Down to Lacortetattooer, which used to be in the same shop as Matsy. I think he just moved like probably 1 month ago in Germany, and I love what it does. It is so saturated. This is really neo-traditional, and yeah, as you see, he's in Cologne now, and I love what he does. I think he's pretty famous, to be honest. You probably saw this pieces quite a bit if you're interested in tattoo, but this is just so pretty. He does some beautiful moths, and he does some beautiful like animal faces. Well, mystic animals, I'd say. And I love that. It's just really flowing and really going well. And again, you can see these like black thick lines most of the time surrounding the tattoos, meaning that they're not going to budge in the future. And I love that. The faces are still very feminine and very strong. This is, to me, the best of the best tattoo artists I know so far. And I just find that they do an incredible work at just transcribing an idea into the skin permanently. Because it's not enough, I think, to be just has good drawing skills. You need to be able to adapt and do things with the body, which is a living thing that you have to work with, and I can't even imagine how hard it is. So I love what he does, and I just love it. I think it's great. And it doesn't like, sometimes we've got more pieces that are a bit more like black and grey, and I still think they look incredible, to be honest. But if I ever go to him, which I probably will, my top 5 is technically people that I want to get a piece by. I will definitely take something in color because I just love it, and I hope you do too, to be honest. Down to number 3. So this is Javier, I'm not sure how to say that, Franco, and he's from Portugal, if I'm right. I'm not sure, but his pieces are, I wouldn't really know how to classify them. To me, it's like a bit of neo-traditional, traditional. It has really his own spin on things. Like, it tends to be a bit more, again, like earth tones. Like, you can have black, a lot of brown, and a lot of like red. He loves to make things pop in his pieces. For instance, here you've got like a bit of green, a bit of grey, like black, but then you're gonna have this bright orange behind that's just gonna illuminate the piece, and that's something I find amazing. You can see that through a lot of his designs. Like here, it's gonna be black with like the red and the orange behind. Oh, this one is so amazing. I love his fox. I think he does an incredible job at just, it looks like the tattoo is enlightened from under the skin, and that's something I find incredible. You can definitely see that all these pieces are really thought for and really going through the body and the curves. I actually talked to this artist a bit because I'm planning to get a piece from him in the next year or so, and he's incredibly sweet too, which I find great. Like, sometimes when you are going to talk to some artists, you're going to be a bit cold, or just, like, everyone has to deal with their life, right? But when you have like a sort of relationship in terms of like someone that is very nice and open to you, I feel like it's way nicer for you because you're going to get a piece from them, and it feels like it's something private and just a celebration, right? So it's really nice when you have an artist that is just really listening and being very nice to you. So yeah, again, some of my favorite pieces from him, the fox. This one is amazing, the horse. I really like that it really looks like it has a Portugal style to it, and I love that. So again, it's some pieces that heal very nicely. I don't know what else I could ask. So for instance, you see this, the tiger, the faces. I think what I'd go for with him is definitely an animal, but I still think his faces look great, to be honest. So I hope you enjoy his work. Number 2 is going to be an artist that I'm going to get something by in November. And she's Ada Wolf. She's in Barcelona, and I love what she does. She's quite inspired by the artist I showed you earlier, which is Haivarasly. And she does really thick, bold line tattoos. And I love that because I know this is not going to move in a few years. Some of my favorite pieces from her is simply the back one. So I'm not so much of a fan of like blackout. That's something I do understand and I find it pretty aesthetically, but I wouldn't get it on me. But I love her peonies. I found them very pretty, really well done. And this is not going to move again. In a few years, that is going to be exactly the same. And like these lines, they're not going to move at all. Like really. I also love her legs ones, like, oof, such as this one. This is a healed one, and I just find it so beautiful. It really goes well with the body and the flow. Then you have other chest pieces. She does a lot of feet pieces, which look pretty amazing to me. I'm terrified. I don't think I would ever get that because I think it would be extremely painful, and I'm not on that kind of thing yet, but I really like what she does. And I love that she does have a lot of flash, for instance this one, which I find very pretty. You can put it on the legs, on the back, on the chest, and also on the arms. And the one piece I think I will get, this one is the same that I just showed you, but look how beautiful that is. Amazing. And the piece that, this is so pretty. I always get so drawn by everything she does. The piece that I want to get is this one. I just find it amazing. So I wanted to adapt it to my body, of course, because I've got pretty big shoulders. So I think if I have the flowers here, it's probably going to make me look even larger. So probably move them a tiny bit here, but we're just going to talk about it a lot, and I already contacted her, so that's pretty cool. And finally, my favorite artist, number 1, is Ikostattoo, who is also in Barcelona and who I'm also going to get a piece by. The thing is, he's really popular, like really popular, and he has no booking appointments available before 2023. Ouch. So I'm not complaining. I know they're really busy and they do everything they can. Not blaming anyone. It's just a long time, and I am someone that travels a lot, and for instance, I am currently studying in Australia, even though I am not there because of a pandemic, so I'm currently in Spain. And basically, I don't know when I will go to Australia. So if I book an appointment for 2023, but then I'm not in Spain anymore, it's just something I can't really come to get, just because the cost would be way too much. So it's just a bit complicated, and the deposits are mandatory, which is completely fair again, but it's just a tricky situation. But I love what he does. So for instance, this is one of my favorite pieces from him. That's actually an inspiration for the piece I want to get. I love this one too, and again you've got these thick bold lines in your traditional Puritan style. You've got the foxes that look amazing. I don't really want a fox piece, but seeing what every tattoo artist can do when it comes to fox really makes me want to get one. Oh, this one is so pretty too. And again, when you look at the healed pieces that he has, they look amazing. They don't move at all, and that's again what we are looking for. So you also have the moth, which is pretty, like you see them pretty often in your traditional designs. You have a lot of animals, and it does also a fair amount of Pokemon characters, I think, and just Mario and anything like this. And you can really see, like, everything looks so well and nice, fresh and polished, and the colors don't move. So I love that. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's just such important criteria for me. Just to have something that stays the same. You have to take care of it, of course. Like, don't go in the sun and don't do your aftercare if you want something that looks bad in 2 days. But if you want something sleek, again, the style is very important. as well as how you treat your tattoo and your body in general, because, you know, I believe that it's more than just a piece you're going to get on your arm. It's like your entire body that it has to be like, okay and fine if you want to get more pieces and just have good skin in the future. It's not something you just get like that. So yeah, that's some of his healed pieces that are just amazing, and I love it. So that's it for my 10 favorite artists. I hope you enjoyed that. Part 2, how I plan for my tattoos. So the way I plan for them is, I used to just think about an idea. Like, for instance, I want a bee. I want a bee tattoo. And I've been wanting that bee for a very long time. And the thing is, I've got a pretty precise idea. I did actually draw the bee, but I like it very much. The only thing is that it's pretty precise in my head, and because of that, it gives me way less flexibility to find an artist that can do it. And also, when I want a piece, I want the artist to feel inspired and like the piece as well. I don't want to be like, oh, I want that, and if you don't like it, you still do it, because I want it to be an exchange. I receive something and they give me something, and I want it, you know, to be a bit more than just customer thing. It's like, you are an artist, I let you do your job. That's my idea, and you kind of go with the flow. I just give you general instructions. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And with my bee, I feel like that really blocked me, that I just have such a strong idea of what I want, because that's not necessarily how I think tattoos should be done, at least on me. So my new way of doing it is, for instance, I will show you for Ikostattoo. I picked all the favorite pieces of him. So usually I'm just gonna go and like go on my saved pins. So you're gonna see a lot of artists, because there's a lot of pieces I like. But some of his pieces that I like the most are gonna be these here. So I love this fox, I love the colors. That's something I really want on my body, this like autumn colors, because autumn is literally my favorite season. I just love everything about it. I love the colors, I love the themes, I love it. I love this animal too. I really like, again, the pop of oranges, but just the normal tones here. Then you've got this chest piece, but I wouldn't get like this, but I love the colors again, the design. Fox, horse, and I want a horse tattoo. And again, this one. So I took all of his pictures and I was like, all right, what are my ideas? What do I want? And my project is to tattoo on me all my totem animals, because I am a pretty strong believer in shamanate traditions, and I just want to have them on me, on my skin. And one of my animals is a horse. So I thought, all right, these are my favorite pieces. I'm just going to put them on a Word document. And then I'm going to go on my Pinterest to be like, okay, I love horses. So this is my general tattoo board that I've had since I'm 13. So I've been thinking about getting tattooed for a very long time. And what I love is that I go back in time and I'm like, I still love a tattoo. So I know it's not something that is going to change in 20 years. You've got a lot of neo-traditional pieces, a bit more traditional, and then like, again, traditional, but oh, this is amazing. And some black work too, because that's what I really like, and peonies. So I usually tend to make a specific board. So for instance, for Ikostattoo, I made this board, which is, you've got the horses that I really like, so I finally picked this one, and this one is like main inspirations. And then I decided to look around. I was like, I want something a bit in theme of autumn, because I really like this piece. It's like flowers and everything, but it's still autumn-like, but I want a bit more. And I was like, okay, I'd begin like getting like the colors right this time, this kind of colors, this kind of horse, and then just like go around and be like, oh wow, maybe why not a mushroom or something like that, which sounds dumb. I don't think giving too many ideas at once is necessarily a good thing, but I think it could really go well together. It's just like the flow of a piece. So typically what I'm gonna do is take a Word document and like put my favorite pieces of the artist, and then put my inspiration piece. So that's what it looks like at the end. So that's his one, his, and his. So that's some of my favorite pieces from him. And then I'm gonna add what I really love. So this is the picture, the main picture of the horse inspiration, the second one, and then the colors I really want to find in the design, and like, I don't know the name of this in English, but I love this, and a mushroom, and I love this kind of style. So that was really my main inspiration, and that's what I sent him, saying, well, if you like your project, then let's do it. So I'm still very, very happy and excited about this. I'll just see if I get it in 2023. That's great. And that's basically my process. So find the artist, really, if you like the style, think about what could go well between you and the artist. It's an exchange. It's not just something you buy and you get. It's an experience. So just indulge in it and make yourself happy. I think it's important. Just enjoy the process, because it's as important as the end result, at least to me. So yeah, if you like anything visual, the boards are a great way to get an atmosphere, an idea. And yeah, just be honest with your artist and say what you want. Don't be shy. And I think that's the most important thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and I see you for another one. Thank you for watching.